Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Haggett Hill. What we're going to work on today, I'm going to try to take this old ugly chainsaw and bring it back to life. So stick around and we'll see if we can make it run. I'm going to give you a close-up view of it. It's pretty ugly. Look at this bar. Give you a shot all the way around. Tell you what it is. It is a Stihl MS-251C. Earlier in the week, I went up to my uncle's house. He's 88 years old. He had a big dead maple tree in his yard we needed cut down. So I cut it down for him, got it all loaded up on my trailer to take up to the farm to the burn pile. Did some other work for him, bush hogging, worked on his driveway. It had washed out. Of course, he wanted to pay me, and no, not going to take any pay, Uncle. Just happy to do it. So he goes to his shed, and he comes dragging out this chainsaw. He said, I want to give you this chainsaw. He said it's been about 6-7 years since it ran. He didn't think it was real too old before he quit using it. Said it doesn't have a lot of runtime hours on it. But as you can see, it looks pretty rough. So we're going to see if we can't make it work today. So watch along. Let's see if we can get this sucker running. All right, I hope y'all don't think I'm a sissy. I put on some rubber gloves today because I'm still sporting the bandage on that finger that I had stitches in the other day. So I've already dumped the old gas out of it and looked at the fuel filter, kind of blown it out. I thought I had some replacements, but I don't. But I think it may be all right. So I'm going to get the bar off. I'm going to try to hit it with a sander just a little bit, clean the rust off of that. We'll try to clean up the case on it. We'll put it in a vise. I'll sharpen the chain, and then we'll put some fresh gas in it. I've already put some bar oil in it. We'll see if we can't get it to run. From what I can tell, this 251, it's a 251C. It's got some kind of easy start. I've done a little research on that, and I guess it's a whole lot easier to start than the old-fashioned ones. This appears to be an updated version of my 025 that was my grandpa's that I got from him. He actually passed away probably 20 plus years ago. And when we cleaned out my grandmother's house after she passed away, we found it hidden in a storage room. And after about 25 years or 20 years of not using it, I dumped the old gas out of it, put a new fuel filter in it, and away it went. Started right up, been using it ever since. Anyway, this, I guess, is an updated version of the 025 because it uses the same bar and the same chain as the 025. So that'll be handy. Boy, that chain's a mess. Well, it ain't perfect, but I think that's close enough for government work. That sprocket sounds a little rough in there, but hopefully a little bit of use, some bar oil in there. I'll put some penetrating oil in there. That'll sound a little bit better. Clean up a little of this gunk out of here. Hopefully this will run, make a good little chainsaw for me. I've got three. Well, this one makes three. I've got a 361, that is my big saw, which is not big by any means, but it's bigger. I've got that old 25. Now I have this 251C if we can get it running. Everything sounds pretty free in there. All in all, doesn't look too bad. We're going to try to clean the case up just a little bit. You guys never use this. This is called Totally Awesome. It comes from Dollar General. It's really cheap, and it truly is totally awesome. It'll cut grease, grime. I used to use this when I had a camper years ago, or several of my campers. It would clean my siding on the camper. Worked great for that. We'll see if it'll clean this up any. Spray it on there, let it soak just a minute. See if we can't wipe it off. But it works like a charm, usually. Like I said, this isn't going to help it run any better, but at least it'd be a little bit cleaner. Well, I definitely wouldn't describe this as looking like brand new, but it's certainly cleaner. Muffler's got a little rust on it, but it'll burn off when I use it. Well, that's not perfect, but it's better. All right, I got my vise out. While we got this bar off, we're going to run a bar dresser on it. When you run a chainsaw a lot, the edges of your bar will get real sharp, kind of have a little jagged edge on it. This one actually feels pretty good, but we're going to clean it up anyway. What a bar dresser does, it's just like a little sharpening stone. You run it across here, just like this, and it cleans up and straightens out those edges. If your chainsaw's cutting sideways, if you're going down a log and veering off one side or the other, bar dresser will help take care of those. You can do it on the top, do it on the side, on each side. Got this off of Amazon. I don't know how much it was, $7, $8, something like that. I'll put a link in the description below. If you want one, there it is. You can click on it and go from there. I do have an Amazon Associates account, so I get a small commission if you buy one. The price is the same to you. It doesn't cost you any extra. So if you want a bar dresser, check out that link. I used this on my 361 back a couple months ago when I first got it. It was cutting sideways. I cleaned that bar up on it. I thought I was going to have to buy a new bar. And it sure straightened it right up. Like I said, this one is in pretty good shape. But we'll just clean it up anyway. Depending on how you hold this, it cleans the sides and it cleans the top. Okay, that feels pretty good and slick. I know you all can't feel it, but let's get you over here where you can see it. Maybe you can. No drags or anything, or else it'd be tearing these gloves. Like I said, if your bar gets wore out, it'll be real jagged on here and real sharp. And that bar dresser will clean it right up. We're going to squirt a little bit of penetrating oil down here in this sprocket. Make it sound a little bit better. Alright, we'll put the chain back on. I'll put it in the vise. We'll sharpen it and see how that works out. I don't know what you all use to sharpen your chainsaws. If you're good enough to use a single file, more power to you. I used to do it back in the day. I'm not good enough to use a single file anymore. I found these online. I actually saw Mike Morgan using one just like this several years ago. That's what first brought me to his channel. And it was the Stihl 2-in-1 sharpener. Awesome little product, but they were pretty high. I got to doing some research, and this is made in Germany by a company called Ferd, P-F-E-R-D. And you can see the name right here. You can find these off of Amazon, and I I bought these a couple years ago. I've got one for my old 25, one for my 361. From what I understand, this Ferd company actually makes steels for them. They just make them orange and white rather than two-tone blue. They're a lot cheaper than the steels. You can find them on Amazon. I'll put a link down in my description of this. Again, I earn a little commission. If you go buy one off of it, you know how that works. It doesn't cost you any more. But these are wonderful. All you got to do, got a little arrow on it. You line that up in the direction that you're going. Line it up on your bar, and what it does, it cuts the tooth and it cuts the raker all at the same time. It usually takes me a minute or so to get everything lined up. So put it on here. Here's my tooth. It's going that way. So the round file is on the tooth and the flat file is on the raker. So we're going to start right here on this one. Just make some 3 or 4 strokes just like this. That tooth looks pretty good. Move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. Although this chain looks pretty rough, it doesn't appear like it's really too dull. Other than being ugly, it appears to be in pretty decent shape. Hopefully, get it running, cycle it a little bit, maybe get some of the bar oil flowing through it. Things will loosen up a little bit. And it may be that this bar is bad enough with the sprocket at the end that I may just have to buy a new bar. But hey, a new bar is worth the price of a new-to-me chainsaw, don't you think? As long as you keep the angle lined up on these things, it's perfect. I always had trouble with regular files, getting my angle off. My girl's got me a electric chainsaw grinder from Harbor Freight a few years ago, and I've tried it and it works pretty good, but I found out I take off too much material with this. This is a whole lot quicker to me, and I can keep this with me when I'm out sawing in the field, and it works pretty good. What I am going to do, I'm going to repurpose that chainsaw grinder from Harbor Freight, try to sharpen my bandsaw blades for my Woodland Mills bandsaw. Seen some guys do that on YouTube. It's not a perfect system, but it works pretty good. I'm not a professional sawyer, just a hobbyist. So it should work for me. Better than paying $600 to $1,000 for a professional sharpener. We just about made it all the way around on one. This is probably boring to you. Once I get back to where I started, I'll cut the camera off so you don't have to watch me sharpen the other side. And then we'll come back and see how we're doing. Alright, there's where we started. So I'll turn the file around, work on the other side, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, I believe I got it sharpened. Now for the moment of truth. Let's put some fresh gas in it. And we'll take it outside and see if it works. Okay, here's the moment of truth. This is supposed to have, it's a MS251C, supposed to have the Easy Start system. I was not familiar with that, so I had to look it up on YouTube on how to start these. And a little bit different process than, starting to cranking and cranking on a regular old chainsaw as hard as you can. My uncle said it hadn't been running in quite some time, probably 6 or 7 years since he used it. So start by putting the choke all the way down. And then apparently you don't have to pull hard on these. You can just pull it out, and I guess it kind of preloads the spring, and it'll kick off by itself. But you pull it a couple times till it starts to kick off, then move it up to the second choke position. How about that? I should have had the chain brake on, but I didn't. Sounds pretty good for not being ran in quite some time. Well, what I got here to test it out on is an oak slab that I cut off of a big oak the other day. You probably saw me mill that up. So I'm going to cut it up a couple little pieces because I'm going to use this for firewood anyway. We'll see if it cuts. Now that it looks like it's going to work, we're going to make a place for it in my tractor carry-all. Watch my videos of that where I took a job box and turned into a tractor carry-all. It's also got weight in the bottom for a counterweight, but I'll show you what I got in here. Here's all my chainsaws. There's my 361, my 025, there's my splitter gas, chains. Of course, here's where I keep my chainsaw gas and bar oil. But this new MS251C, its home's going to be right here. I'll make a mark right here in the block that I put in there for a holder to hold them up. I'll run my chainsaw down in there, give that cut, and then we'll put it in there. I would take this out to cut it, but I've got it screwed in. So I'm going to just cut it in place. But then I'm going to have to get my shop vac and vacuum all the sawdust out. Don't try this at home. Alright, let's see how everything fits. 361. The new to me MS251. My grandpa's old 25. Here's my splitter gas. Here's the chainsaw gas and bar oil. There's also an extra chain in the bottom. And my scrunch. And then here is my file. I mounted my files up here on some Harbor Freight magnetic strips. Got my chains in there. Got an old toe strap. Not too bad for what I would call a wood cutting go box and combination tractor weight. Good thing about it is I use it here at the house whenever I'm cutting and splitting firewood down the hill. I take everything down there with me. I can tow my splitter down there with a hitch, or I can carry it down the hill with my tractor fork. Doesn't make any difference. But and I've got it on rollers, so when I unhook it, I can roll it around in the shed. But when I want to go up to the farm and cut firewood, all I got to do is unhook it from my tractor, put it up in the back of my truck, strap it down. Then when I get up to the farm, I can put it on the back of my TYM 474, and I've got all my wood cutting stuff right there with me. Plus, it locks just like any other standard job box. Although the paint doesn't match my TYM, I built this when I only had the LS. If you want to see how to build one of these for your tractor, check out that video where I built this one. Well, hey, thanks for stopping back by here on Haggett Hill and helping me bring this old chainsaw back to life. I guess you could say we resurrected it. Not too bad for a free chainsaw. I think it'll do a good job for me. As always, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. I appreciate you taking the time to send me a comment. I like answering each and every one. Get outside and enjoy this beautiful fall weather. And remember, God bless to you and your family.